There you go. There's the sounder. And by the way, when are you going to send me your sounder so we can also play it on the radio? That means, hey, take time out because gently listen and pay attention, because hopefully we'll have something important to say, or useful, or entertaining, or perhaps just something that may challenge you from time to time. At least we don't want to waste your time. I'm Stan Houston. The program is called Interesting Ideas. And here's an idea which you may never have thought of. I have discovered throughout life that Thursday is often Turbulence Day. That's right, Turbulence Day. Don't ask me why. I think in my life it's kind of because I want to get some things done on Thursday so I can have more of a future Friday where I'm kind of calming down and thinking and getting ready for the weekend and the following week. So if something difficult needs to be done, it better be done by Thursday. So maybe I cause some of my own turbulence. But it is Turbulence Day. Well, that's true. However, I'm going to talk to you about a few things, if I have your permission, that might just begin to help make sense of all that, and maybe something that will be helpful for me to remember that I will pass on to you. That's the program agenda for today. If we can figure out how to get through the turbulence, Interesting Ideas begins right now. So you decided to come back. I'm glad you did. I think it'll be worthwhile. If nothing else, here's a great line that I picked up, and this is not original with me. Now, I do a lot of my own original work in my writing and my speaking, but one of the things I do is I'm smart enough to know that, as someone said, a good writer borrows and occasionally a great writer steals from other people. Now, I never do the stealing, because if I take something from another writer, I am fanatic about giving attribution. So if I have an idea that someone shared with me, I try never to ever pass it off as my own. I want to give people full credit for their ingenuity and their helpfulness. Recently, as I may have mentioned, I've been reading a rather crazy book by a crazy wise man. His name is Hugh MacLeod, and he puts together what is called the gapingvoid.com. It's kind of a blog, but what he's really known for is he does cartoons on the back of business cards. And he's written a book called Ignore Everybody and 39 Other Keys to Creativity. And it's a combination of some wit and warmth and wisdom and certainly a whole lot of irreverence and some real wise guy stuff from time to time. But it makes you think. And he's very, very clever in how he puts it together. And I would really encourage you. It'll make you smile. It'll make you mad. It'll make you happy. A few things may even make you sad. But you will not be negative about it. And I bought the book because a guy named Seth Godin recommended it to me. And he's better known than I am. But I appreciate his work because he's really, really good at what he does. He recommended, and so I went to a used book outlet, and I saw one that was perfect. Now, you know why it was perfect? First of all, it was the cheapest one of all of the books. And the reason it was the cheapest is because the seller, I think it was a Goodwill store, said the book has been heavily underlined and marked up. Now, usually that's a negative when people are trying to sell a used book. I mean, most of the people who buy a used book they want it to be looks nice. In fact, they like it to be almost new. But I love when books are marked up, because then I get to see what the previous reader thought and what struck them and what notes hit them. And oftentimes I've learned a great deal just by reading a book secondhand after somebody has given it careful and thoughtful attention firsthand. So that's why I bought that particular book, and it was interesting to see what other people thought and what they thought was important. Here's one that just struck me the other day, and I shared it with my wife because we're going through some things that we're dealing with some family issues out there. And here's what the quote said. Now listen carefully, okay? Again, from Mr. Hugh MacLeod. Yes, we have to talk, and then you have to shut up. Yes, we have to talk, but then you have to shut up. Now, think about that. Just let that, all of us deal with conflict. That's a part of life. And particularly if you're a person who is in charge of difficult work and hard experiences, and if you're doing anything worthwhile, that's what your work is. It's tough. Nothing easy is probably worthwhile. I remember Donald Trump, and you have to understand Donald Trump in so many ways that most people did not. And he was calmly reflecting on his life working as a landscape, real estate, huge developer in New York City, where everybody wants a piece of you and everybody's trying to take it from you. And he just simply said, everything I've accomplished in life, I've had to fight for. Everything. I had to fight for it. And that will frame a man, but in many, many cases, as you will discover, many of the men and women who have achieved great things, whether you like them or not, in whatever field, they will tell you in the moment of real wisdom, yeah, it was tough. It's okay now, but we had to fight about it. I had to deal, and I had to compromise, and I had to back off, and I had to get beat up, and I had to pick myself off the floor and go back at it. I had to fight for it. Well, that is somewhat going down this road. But then, just exactly that statement. Guess what? Yes, and we have to talk, and then you have to shut up. Now think about that. That means it's over. It's over. So just let that kind of sit on your head. And that's a good line to remember. In fact, I not only shared it with my wife, I'm going to use it on somebody who has created a little bit of turbulence, and we are going to talk, and we're going to get it solved, and then I'm going to tell them, okay, now, because they kind of have a habit of wanting to bring it up again, or remind me, remember this? Then you have to shut up. Let me just let that sit on your head for a while, and we'll be back. Now, one of the things that I just did is I took a man named Hugh MacLeod, and he obviously, the book is full of what I call signature lines. That's a great one. And what I really encourage business leaders and men and women who want to make their mark is they need to have some branded sounds, things that they seek to own. Now, again, going back to Trump, what made him famous was, "You're fired." What are some of your signature lines? Now, I'll just give you a few of mine. First of all, I've been known for what was chapter 1 in my first book, and it simply is this: fear kills everything. I'm also known for this line: image is not everything, but it is the first thing. And of course, you've heard me say it a number of times. Just let that sit on your head for a while. Now, if you go through all of my writings and some of my videos and lots of my radio programs, you will see that Stan Houston has things that people remember him by. Certain sounds, certain songs. One of the songs I adopted is the old Shaker song. It's a gift to be simple. It's a gift to be free. It's a gift to come down where we ought to be. I remember one day I was driving and the phone rang, and it was safe enough, so I just picked it up, and someone said, "Hey, Stan," and they gave me their name. "Just wanted to give you a call because I thought of you. They were playing your song on the radio." So I just thought I'd say, "How you doing?" And then he said, "I always remembered the story you gave me about that song, and it really is a good one. It's a gift to come down where you ought to be." You know what, Stan? I think I'm getting there. I'm going to get where I ought to be. There we go. Oftentimes I have been known as, what are you doing when you feel God's pleasure? When you really feel God's pleasure, what are you doing? Think about that. What are you doing when you feel the pleasure? Hey, that's part of what today is all about. Now, what I want to encourage you to do is, we are in the midst of turbulence. Right now, it's hard for people to focus on other things because the news of the war is so overwhelming. It really is the only thing that's on the news these days. And so you have to search if you want to find something that might be a little more interesting, intriguing, and certainly inspiring, because the news itself is dragging us down. And also keep in mind that there are cases where we discover that the people who want to make the news know that if they can keep you in a state of turbulence, in a state of anxiety, they have you. And then they can advertise to you. And since they know you're in an agitated state, they can suggest things that might help you. You know, like eating too much or taking too many pills. Because if we've got some agitated audiences, they are ripe. They are ready for some good advertising, on the belief that it will calm things down. It will soothe the turbulence. I'm Stan Houston. This is Interesting Ideas, and these have been some random thoughts, but I hope they've been helpful to you. We'll be back. Okay, how can I help you? Just, there it goes. That's one of my favorite sayings. By the way, I took it from somebody else. His name is Jesus. That was one of his favorite sayings. What do you want? How can I help you? Great line. One very successful man said, the secret of his success was people always knew that you say to them, how can I help you? And you know what? They were ready to tell him. And he was ready to help them. And he said, I'm not really very, very smart. I'm bright enough, but I am smart enough to ask the right question, which is, how can I help you? And then I am a gentleman enough that if I say I'm going to help them, I keep my word. That's it. That's how I was able to do so well, just doing that. So I pass that on to you too. Hey, we are in difficult times. I will tell you that I believe that in the midst of the messes that we are in, that's why I'm going to be doing a podcast called More Power to You, because I want more power to come into your life, and it will be how to be fully present to the mess you're in, but not panicky, not afraid, because you are aware of the deep presence. You understand that when you pray, something happens, and it's good. There we go. Please reach out to me. I can help you. I speak, I teach, I consult. Most things we can help you do. And because we also have What It Takes Radio, we can help everybody. Because the goal of this program, What It Takes Radio, is to help you also reach your audience. You have an audience. You may call them customers. You may call them prospects. You may call them students. You may call them voters. Whatever you call them, they are an audience. And you have at least one, and maybe you'd like to have more, and you'd like to reach them with more and more powerful, good stuff. And if you're in the business of helping people acquire more good stuff, I'm in the business of helping you. So reach out to me at stanhusted@gmail.com. That's stanhusted@gmail.com. Or you can do stan@witradio.net, whichever is easiest to remember. And then check us out, What It Takes Radio, how we can help you reach your audience and literally enjoy being what I'm doing right now. I'm having fun because I'm doing partly what I was made for, and that is to have a good time talking to you on the radio. And I can help you do that too. As I said to one young man who delivered a package to my studio the other day, he said, "You do podcasts?" I said, "Yes, I do." He said, "Oh, I could never do that." And I said, "Yes, you could. I guarantee you could." He said, "You really believe that? That almost makes me queasy." I said, "I not only believe it, I know that. I could help you have your own podcast and be on the radio, and you might be very, very profitable, but likely not too profitable. But I'll tell you this, it will make you far happier, far better, and far more successful than you ever thought possible." And I mean that for you too. I'm Stan Husted once again. That's an interesting idea. I'm full of them, and I'd like you to join me on the radio, and then I'd like you to join me as I help you start your own radio service worldwide. Amazon just announced they are in the business now, and they have a new product. Of course, they know it's going to work, or they'll get rid of it soon. And their job is, as they say, we're going to help everybody have their own radio station. And I simply said when I saw that, "I beat you to it, Jeff." I already do just that. You can have your own radio station. Best and blessings, and bye for now.